on Oxide. And of course, this player won the upper bracket of the tournament, has not dropped a series yet, and starts off with a 1-0 advantage in the grand finals. In the bottom left, representing Kaizi Gaming, this is Time.
And in the top right, from Invictus Gaming in the red, the Challenger, the Red Protoss, the Boomer Gamer, this is MacSed. I do agree with you, Pig. I guess the aggression, for lack of a better term, the Widowmine drops and that sort of thing, the harassment, probably a better way to say it. Like putting resources into harassing and hurting your opponent early game does seem like it was the undoing, especially of Coffee, you know, in his series against MacSed. He really wanted to get something done in the early game, and a lot of the time it didn't work out for him. And off the back of a little bit of damage in the early game, it sort of snowballed eventually in a MacSed victory. And that's because MacSed doesn't really throw leads. We haven't seen him do that too often because he is, you know, a lot more, I guess, patient and a little bit more, you know, mature, and has a lot of more star sense than a lot of the players here in this bracket. And you know what's amazing about, speaking of the, you know, the age of the players here, we were talking about how successful Time is, 200k in earnings, and that's just prize pool, by the way, not including his salary. He's 21. Yeah. Time's done all that in like a few years. MacSed's been playing for nearly 11 in StarCraft 2.
It's actually wild, dude. Time has had such an astronomical rise. Now, this is Nexus before Cybercore up against a Reaper opening. So the Reaper could maybe get a probe or two if it does go dive straight into that main base. And the SCV will confirm with that Nexus timing that indeed the Reaper should. It is a second barracks and a reactor. So it looks like a 3 racks follow-up, most likely for Time here. Up against Proxy Oracle is what it looks like for MacSed. So the thing is, plenty of Marines off this build. Usually it's pretty good against the Oracle. That being said, they're not really in the main base at the time a Proxy Oracle hits. So they still could be 4-5 SCVs, which is a great disruption. And that probe's going to go down for sure. Time hesitates a little bit there. Oh, being really cautious. He saw the Nexus timing with his SCV, but maybe didn't pay attention. He could have got in there and killed at least 1 probe, maybe even 2 here. But MacSed gets away with greed.
Yeah, he does indeed. There was a moment to be able to get that probe for sure. A little bit of a mishap there from Time. Not the biggest of deals, of course. You don't really expect a probe kill with a Reaper.
Yeah. Well, the Adept is going to shoo that Reaper away. 3 barracks, of course, on the way. Now, the good thing about... Oh, he's doing the Void Ray again. We didn't get to see this one work out against Coffee because the game went to shit. Remember, it went crazy. It went wild really quickly. The Void Ray is on the way, and it does get found. And it's against the 3 racks, which is probably not the optimal position for this anyway.
Yeah, and the plus side here of the Terran is that you also know it's a Void Ray because you see the shape of the Void Ray, and you see, of course, with the probe here that it's going to be the Void Ray shield battery push here on the Terran. So Time starts that bunker, and we'll be looking at getting up a factory as soon as he can here. He hasn't got the minerals for it. He's got the gas for it, though.
I don't think it even matters. I think this is just a terrible build order for MacSed because he's going up against 3 racks. So look, the Void Ray already gets defended. MacSed needs to drop like a Twilight, a Robo, other tech. He's not going to get anything done with this.
Oh my god! Oh!
Yeah. This is a good build for catching out someone who's swapped a factory onto the reactor and is building lots of like Hellions or something like that, or maybe they've just sent a Widowmine drop across the map. In this scenario, you can't achieve anything. MacSed needs to go home and make splash damage right now and go to the next step of the game. He's got to scrap this plan because it does nothing against a 3 racks.
Yeah, unfortunate build order choice from MacSed against the build order choice of Time. It's just it happens sometimes. Both players decide at the beginning of the game, I'm going to go for this build, and it's can sometimes just work out to be heavily in favor of one player in particular, and that is the Terran here. Obviously, the multiple Void Rays is great, but one of them is already heavily damaged. There's a bunker up, and Time's buying turret. There isn't really an angle for these Voids.
The turrets are so unnecessary right now. Like, I don't even know what those are for. But Time just being super safe, he's like, what is this build order you're doing? Why do you have Void Rays off at expansion? This is so strange.
He's got Stim now.
Yeah. Stim, shields have started. He's got +1 on the way, factory on the way. Oh, my
dead
lord.
Void. Second dead Void, question mark? Not quite.
Yeah, this is just such a good opening for Time. There's no pressure on him to attack. If the thing is, if he did just grab all of his bio and go across the map, I don't think MacSed could stop it outside of warping in a whole bunch of sentries. Like, it's so hard, even on your natural ramp, because the Void Rays just don't add anything to your style. So if MacSed can salvage this game, I'm going to be very impressed. But this is 2 times on this map MacSed has tried this build order, And both games, it has not worked out for him. So I'm still curious how this one works out in practice and how those surprise Void Rays no doubt do win him some games when his Terran opponents are surprised by it.
Yeah, I could see him beating ladder Terrans for sure. And maybe he's beaten time before it on ladder, but it doesn't look good in game one. He is rushing quickly to that robotics bait. He's also trying to get a corner nexus here, knowing that a third in a regular spot is just going to get killed easily by time.
He knows he's dead if he plays straight up, and that's very smart. So MacSed says, look, I know I'm in such a screwed position. It's all gambles from here. Kind of sucks doing a corner base against Terran because they always fly along the edges of the map with their drops anyway. So there's a good chance they just stumble on that base by accident. But for now, defend 2 bases. That way you can actually survive the Terran onslaught. If you're lucky, time overcommits to 2 base here. Takes a really late third command center to say, commit to kill you. Unfortunately, of course, that's not the case. The command center goes down on location just past 6 minutes. But there's a chance with a hidden base, maybe recall some probes, that MacSed does claw his way back into this game. And most importantly is not giving the opportunity for time to attack a spread out Protoss. If he defends that natural ramp, he can hold off a far superior force with just a small set of units.
I think considering he's going to have a Colossus here and potentially Colossi with the second one just around the corner as well, he has a Chrono available. This should be a hold from MacSed, at least his army isn't massive, but he's got the anti-marine countermeasures. Oh, that said though, time is splitting up his forces. Gonna try and look for a third with a small group of bio without medevac support and then drop the main.
So few tools to actually defend with. So this is the sort of stuff that could work out very well for time, but I think seeing the Void Ray will probably just back off there. No, he's going for it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, a bit of a late stim there from time. He's going to lose a fair few Marines. Just committed now with the rest of the units in the fight. MacSed's distracted, though, and he's going for the recall on the main base, but not before losing almost a dozen probes here.
Oh, the Colossus gets focus fired. Time there with a brilliant maneuver. He's going to go after the Void Ray as well, because that's the one unit that could stop him escaping. Nice attack for time. And the frontal attack was a disaster. Let's be real, for time. It was really bad. It was meant to be a distraction. He just got all of his units killed. But he does damage the economy of MacSed, which is very important now. The problem is that time may misread the situation and go, I'm further ahead than I am. The thing is, he is still ahead. He's going to 5 barracks. He's got 55 workers versus 52. MacSed is, of course, absolutely trailing in this match. And time, he's just way up in army supply. He's got a lot of tools at his disposal. MacSed's got to move out to pretend he's taking a third base, but he might just die to this Doom drop.
Yeah, this 4 medevacs don't need to respect these 5 stalkers here. They can just drop right on top of them, and they do exactly that. And they gun them down, and the coal is coming from inside the house, Pig. This does not look good for MacSed.
Yeah, he's going to have to tap on out there. I mean, that opening is not particularly good versus a 3 racks. It's just too flexible. Even without the bunker, you're never going to be able to kill too much there with Void Rays. Even if you get a battery or 2 up, Void Rays don't do that well versus Marines. Once Stim kicks in, the Terran has absolute map dominance and control. So a cute opening from MacSed, looking for a more tech-heavy, potentially Hellion-oriented opening from the Terran player. Something which time does like to mix in these series, but MacSed does not find the mark, and I'm still really sad because I want to see that build work at its optimal settings so I can understand kind of how it works, how he follows it up. Is it a kill move? Is there a harassment? Does he build more and more Void Rays? Is it always just a harassment with 2 Void Rays? I want to know.
Yeah, it's not that regular 12 pylon Void Ray rush, right? Like it's a little bit of a different path to get there, and it feels like it would be good against everything that isn't a 3 racks.
Yeah, I mean, it can find some things against so many other stuff, right? Against Mass Marine, it's just like, no, pretty easy. This is a good catch here for MacSed, so hats off to him for that, but a little light in terms of overall things that he had able to respond with. And yeah, just a nice win there for time. So the cheeky build for MacSed in the first game doesn't work out.
Yeah, indeed. And there was the finishing blow here from time, just knowing that the Protoss just hasn't got much at all. The army that MacSed did have was super out of position. I think recall was also on cooldown, but even if he recalled, it would have just been targeted down by the bio anyway. There wasn't multiple Colossi for him to rely on, and not really any meat to his army either. No charge lots, no nothing like that. So it really was a done deal. So he tapped there in game 1, which is technically score-wise game 2. So on the score, time currently 2-0 here.
Indeed. It's a very nice start to the series, and still that one, it's a mystery for us. It is a big old mystery, Maynard, but I think we're going to see a return to 4-gate blink. The controlling 4-gate blink style is most likely on the menu for the next game. And of course, we're going to have maps like Lightshade coming on up, which MacSed will be no doubt very comfortable on. Of course, the series is going to continue. It is a best of 7, so first to 4 maps to win.
That's right, plenty of maps to go ahead. And after the break, we'll have another one for all you guys out there in chat land. So don't go away. We'll see you then. G'day, mates in the chat. It's guys on the stream right here, or guys with the microphones right here, Maynard and Pig, casting the grand finals of the DreamHack Masters Fall Chinese main event with Time up against MacSed. Currently Time with a 2-0 score lead. We've only played the one game though. Time has that first score point from winning the winner's bracket. I feel like a lot of times people will come in and they'll be like, oh, why is, hasn't there only been one game? Why does it tell you 2-0? That's for you. That's for you.
That's for that one. That's right.
That's for
clip
that's for that
clip
guy.
that moment and send it to the person who asks next time.
Right. Let's make a bot command. We'll make a bot command and put it for every tournament. 'Cause it's hard for people. You know, they roll into the final of all of these tournaments, which always have that winners and map advantage, and they're just like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. 1-0? Did I miss a game? And there's always another one. Here we go. Okay, and then the guys in the chat, they'll help them out. Like, you know, you guys are great. You guys are like, you know, back before the C19, we had a little thing called mosh pits at things called concerts. And whenever someone in a mosh pit falls, you pick them up again. You know, it's mosh etiquette. You don't hurt that person.
Yeah.
You pick them up. We're all one family, just here to enjoy things together. So, you know, that one's for people that, you know, go to metal shows out there in the chat, which I'm sure is at least 3 of you. So, shout out to you guys.
I'm sure all of the StarCraft fans in the chat have been outside before into the real world. They've listened
absolutely.
to
Yes.
the music, and they have the tastes of understanding the concerts.
100+ girlfriends or boyfriends, whatever your choice is, you're fighting them off.
Yeah.
I know.
And everyone's
I get
also
it.
6.3 KA plus MMR.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I was talking about Lightshade Maynard and getting back to the Protoss map. Wait a second. We're not there yet because Oxide was actually MacSed's pick. Oh, no. We're going into Beckett. Shortest rush distance map in the pool. This is absolutely in the favor of the Terran player. In the bottom left-hand side, representing Kaiser Gaming, it's time.
Of course, no vetoes for MacSed is the other downside of coming in here being a score point down in the top right. From Invictus Gaming, looking to put a point in the board, but it's a tough map for him. This is MacSed.
So he's going to be going for a double gas one base build. Now it looks to me like he might be pulling out the Haas special. Now Hero's been doing this a lot lately, and that's where you kind of pretend you're doing a super crazy, almost all-in one base build, but you put your proxy in the last spot they'd ever check. And then you just expand and go Phoenix. And you go, ha, because your opponent's overreacting. They think they're being one base. They're freaking out. The problem is, Time is actually playing very slow scout and has already started the command center on the low ground. So there's a chance that Time doesn't cancel that command center. That would be very bad for MacSed. MacSed wants him to cancel that, pull to the high ground, build a factory, build a bunker, and freak out looking for proxies. Let's see how hard Time reacts here.
Yeah, it is a bit of a mind game here at the beginning. And this is the map for it. Comes into the main, sees the single pylon, and the 2 gases being mined from. And the gateway already making a unit as well. He started a Zealot.
Yeah, command center gets cancelled, so that's good for MacSed, because now MacSed just wants to deny scouting and take a Nexus. So Hero recently beat Cure with this, and in one of the weeklies, and honestly, Q is one of the best TVP players in the world, and it was 5 minutes of him scouring the map for proxies, tearing his hair out, going, "What are you doing? What's happening? Where are your buildings?" And then he eventually realized, like, oh, you're just playing a macro game. Your Nexus is just a minute later, and you've got really early Phoenix out. And this is why this is such a good style. Look at that. You're worried about, what are you worried about as Time right now? Proxy Void Ray, Proxy Robo. Proxy Void Ray especially is all over the meta. One base DT and Blink actually do come out a little bit every now and then from cheeky Protoss players, and especially on this map. So this is a great adjustment for MacSed. Goes for Phoenix, takes his Nexus. Ooh, I don't think he's got, is this Adept there? He's got to deny the scouting. That's a
He
good
sees
scout.
the Nexus here, yeah. So sees the Nexus here and probably was like, wait a minute.
Got tricked.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's not too far behind. It is a very delayed Nexus for Time. The worst case scenario is that Time then is like, well, I built so many units I need to attack into you. And then the Phoenix are obviously very good at defending most attacks. Now, Marines are coming out here and they're looking at, oh, they're going to, them plus the Cyclone. Oh, these Adepts need to go home. Oh, you don't want to throw your Adepts away. Cyclone's going to pop on one side, Marines on the other. That Adept will go down. Luckily, one of them already did head home, but a little bit of a misstep there for MacSed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Adept going down there. 100 minerals, 25 gas going down for no damage whatsoever. Always a good trade for the Terran. His natural is just about ready here 4 times, about 3/4 of the way done through that command center. And MacSed is hiding these Phoenixes. So with the Phoenixes, we're expecting him just to swing on through and surprise them with a bunch of SCV damage.
You know, Maynard, this is actually the build where first time I saw Protoss do this mind game a lot. This was actually that Valencia tournament you're talking about where Haas did really well. That was when he was beating like special and stuff. It was this exact same opening that MacSed's using now. So I love that this is like 3 years later or something like that, and it's still getting used. Whenever you have the Terran thinking they might get cheese, it's such a cool little idea. Now, unfortunately for MacSed, those Phoenix are just waiting for an overcommitment. Time's not doing it. What did we talk about earlier in this series? You know, he wants to just wait for you to commit to aggression so he can stomp it down. That's when MacSed takes control of the map. But Time's being incredibly patient, sitting back, and that is the right way to play against MacSed, who now, he's like, man, my Phoenix have got to do something. They're stacking up energy. I got to go pick up some units.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Liberator's going to come across the map, but what MacSed really wanted was, you know, a little bit more of a commitment than that. Something that really hurts the Terran that he can just erase with these Phoenixes. And the Phoenixes aren't even in position, so this Liberator might still find damage, weirdly enough. Oh, that's some good SCV damage. Well caught by MacSed. Time really with nothing in the main here.
Yeah, the Cyclone, the Marines, the tanks, everything's pushing across the map. Now, he sees the Liberator. He should have recalled those Phoenix, I believe. He saw it coming in, but he didn't see it, if you know what I mean, Maynard. He got vision of it. He didn't see it. 42 probes, very few army units, and this is a very difficult position to be in. A mass of Marines, a couple tanks, and a Cyclone hitting the front. He's only got one shield battery. MacSed is also almost supply blocked, Maynard.
Yeah, he certainly is. He hasn't noticed it yet either. He hasn't dropped that extra pylon. Oh, I mean, he might have some supply freed up here in a minute, Pig. That army of Time looks very deadly. Overcharged shield battery going to go down to that tank volley.
Ooh.
And these Phoenixes are up against a ball of Marines with a Cyclone and even a turret being built here from Time, pushing forward with the static offense.
MacSed's going to be supply blocked. He's got to go now because he's not getting any more units. He's going to shade around that wall. If he could pick up the tanks, it might work, but the turret's going to cause him big problems. He's just started more pylons now. MacSed is still supply blocked. He's just lost 2 more pylons. He's not getting out of this supply block. He keeps building them 1 or 2 at a time. He's got to build like 4 pylons. MacSed is getting absolutely smashed. And now that the bunkers are done, there is no way to break out of this push. I think this might be a Gigi, Maynard. This is looking like a fantastic push for Time, punishing MacSed's cheeky build order.
Yeah, in France, they call this le GG, where you just put G and then hit enter and then F10N. Or F10W if you want to check your replay.
You could have all the baguettes in the world. It's not going to get you out of this one. Yep. Look at that. The turrets. 2 turrets are going to just blast the Phoenix. They can't even kill the tanks. That is a beautiful push for Time. And MacSed caught being a little bit too greedy. Beckett, that push distance, dude. They leave the base, they blink, and then they're at your base. Hot damn. MacSed down at 0-3.
Yeah. A very rough start to the series for sure. A Time actually on match point. Weirdly enough, 3-0 here against MacSed at the moment because he has that winner's map advantage, which we explained earlier, and I'm not going to explain it again. So, you know, MacSed's got a ton of work ahead of him here. He's going to win 4 in a row, Pick. He's going to win 4 in a row. That's how MacSed wins this final. How likely is that?
Dude, I mean, that would be pretty... If MacSed turns this around and wins 4-3 in this finals, this would be one of those bets where you bet... This would be like... If you bet on that for MacSed right now, it's like betting on Bitcoin in like 2002 before anyone had even conceived of it, Maynard. Like that's the level.
I betting on Bitcoin in 2002. it's like betting on Fruit Dealer to win GSL season 1 when Brood War had just been released. It's a little early. But yeah, no, it's you're quite right. Like obviously some early bets, early investments would be nice here, but Time just knows how to. He just knows too well what to do in what situation and to execute it to a T. Yeah. And it just makes so few mistakes. You really just very rarely see Time make any mistakes.
I actually think MacSed had a pretty good setup to deal with this. It's just the Liberator. He didn't spot it coming across, even though he saw it. If he just recalled his Phoenix, realized the push was coming, warped in adapts, and just, you know, jumped on that push when it first arrived. If you pick up the 2 siege tanks, there's no turrets, no bunkers. Like, dude, adapts do so well versus unupgraded Marines, especially when you lift the tanks and the Cyclone, take them out of the fight. Yeah, 1 or 2 might get focused down by the Marines, but the adapts are going to slay. So I think compositional choice, build order choice, fantastic for MacSed. But just that push and just the timing kind of coming in, the Liberator setting off and distracting MacSed so he doesn't even realize, bam, there's units on his doorstep and he's getting shelled and he's going, oh, what? So a nice, you know, cascade of events there for Time, and things unfortunately unraveling very quickly for MacSed in this series.
And if they keep unraveling, it'll be very quickly unraveling the series, indeed, not just MacSed unraveling here. We're hoping for more games of StarCraft, but the onus is on MacSed to dig deep, as you say, and find that magic, find that specific build order. I mean, we are finally heading to MacSed's map, so he's got that going for him, because that was definitely Time's map pick there, the Beckett, and just so rare at the high level to see a Terran lose on Beckett. I think we saw Seether lose on it, but that was like Seether's fault that he lost that game was against me and Micah with the Roach Rush, right? As when he kind of didn't respect it and thought his bunker would be up in time and kind of misjudged the situation and kept his depot lowered and made a mistake.
That was the first time we've ever seen a professional Terran lose to a 12 bull. Essentially, it was like 6 Zerglings. He just didn't raise his depot. Like it was. I don't think we've seen a Terran lose to a 12 bull
that's
before
not map dependent
in a pro match. Yeah, it was just brain fart, and that one went that way. But you know what, Maynard? I believe in the power of old age. I think he's taken his Rogaine and his medicine and stuff in the top left. So this young guy's got to keep it going. He's got to keep working hard because he's about to get mind gamed out of this map in the next 4 in a row. Maybe. We'll see. Down here in the bottom right-hand side, he's dominating so far. He's the king of China for a reason. He is looking monstrous. It's Kaiser Gaming's time.
And in the top left, he's going to need your energy and also a lot of his own, because it may not be enough. He's got to win 4 in a row here. From Invictus Gaming, the Protoss in the red, this is MacSed. Do you know what the problem is for MacSed?
What? What's the problem?
Time is money.
Time is money, friend.
Time waits for no one. Time is inevitable.
Well, you know what? Big Macs are tasty, and that's what he said. So take that.
Wow, you're right. I can't argue with that.
Have we ever got a backstory on MacSed's name? Does it mean anything?
I don't know. I don't know. It might be one of those translation things where maybe in Mandarin it's different, or in Canada. Like, I'm not too sure. I'm a very ignorant man in that regard. I have no idea. I'd love to ask him one day, but maybe in an offline event. But
did you know actually MacSed does have a nickname, God of Legacy of the Void? Did you know that?
Is that his nickname?
Officially on his Wikipedia page, and it says in brackets next to it, self-proclaimed.
Self-proclaimed. Oh, MacSed. I was going to say, did the Chinese community come up with this and then forget time exists?
I think it may be a little tongue-in-cheek.
Oh my god, that's destroyed me. Self-proclaimed God of Legacy of the Void. Well, Pig, I'm also a self-proclaimed billionaire.
I love that he probably made a joke on his stream one day or something like that, and someone's like, yeah, we're putting this on the Wikipedia page.
Amazing. Well, as a self-proclaimed billionaire and also self-proclaimed greatest streamer of all time, I can only concur.
Well, it is going to be a bunch of Marines here. The Reaper's going to go out to scout as the bunker will be finished up in a moment. Widowmine drop looks like it's going to be the order for the day, and well, we haven't seen a robo just yet, I don't believe, but it's just 2 gate blink for now. Keep our eyes out for potentially a robo and 2 more gateways, as that seems to be MacSed's favorite. And it's been pretty successful over the last week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it certainly has. So it looks like he's heading towards that 4 gate. He did it on Lightshade last PvT he played.
Yeah, it's good here. There's a lot of area to blink in the main. Lots of wide open areas to skirmish with them, wear their pushes down. And indeed, yeah, going up to those 4 gateways. So what we saw previously is Time would go in with the drop, and MacSed waits far back from the edge, but he has like spotting pylons and stuff out. So if you commit in, you just get blunked on. And he always has at least 5 stalkers, so they can 2-shot the medevac, because it's 9 stalker shots to kill a medevac at full life. So the idea there is, if Time goes for this, you kind of want him to see him be very cautious with his medevac, and maybe even just wait in the dead space, wait for MacSed to come across the map, and then like come in from an unexpected angle with it.
I mean, this is what MacSed wants. Medevac drops, Widowmine drops, hell yeah, bring them in. He's making a bunch of Stalkers. This is exactly what he wants. If he can catch it, that is.
Indeed. Well, he's done it so reliably in his previous games. I expect his Stalkers to move up to a middle point in the middle of his base and him to be ready to pounce in that main. We'll see. But I think Time won't even risk going in because of past experiences. It just seems to make sense.
Well, yeah. Yeah, he has that this is something that I wish Coffee had. The ability to actually just pull out of a drop. Just to go, no, I'm not gonna drop here.
Yeah. I think you see that pylon and you're like, no. Let's not do that. Good idea. I like this play from Time. So I don't mind this at all. He's still doing 3 racks, whereas, you know, I've been like, 3cc, please, you know. I've been calling for it because I think it just gets ahead versus MacSed's build pretty easily. But oh, MacSed, look at that. He knows there's a medevac, and he's like, okay, it's not committing. You're just chilling. Immediate Templar Archives 3rd Nexus. You know what we're seeing? We're going to see that Psystorm charge build. Cyan tried to do this, of course, and it didn't work out against Time. That was on Jagannatha, the one where we saw him basically just moonwalk his Marines around the storms in circles and laugh at it and continue to move forward and just roll over Cyan on Jagannatha. But MacSed, last time he did Storm versus Time, it was him smashing through Time with just storms all over his face. So we'll see how this one works out. Stalker drop going to poke into the main. Widowmine drop's going to look to go in there. Time might not be able to resist while MacSed's busy microing this.
Yeah, he's still got that medevac up at the 11 o'clock on the map, chilling at the edge there. And even though at times seems super prepared for the Prism and 4 Stalkers, which MacSed's done every game that he's gone for this build, he was a little out of position, so MacSed did get some SCV kills there, which is good.
I love how far MacSed keeps those Stalkers back. It's so tempting to go in with that medevac, but it's specifically because, like I said, he wants you to go past the point of no return, so he can blink and just take your medevac out. No chance to pull back. It's a big push, though, for Time. This is a huge 2-base attack. It's not an all-in. He's going to build a 3rd on location, but he's got to do damage. And the problem is, Psystorm's finishing up. Charge is there. 8 gateways about to come in. Lots of shield batteries as well. Are there shield batteries on the natural for MacSed is the question. Yeah, they're not. And Time's going for that direction. This is really bad for MacSed. He's built 2 on his 3rd, none on his natural. And the thing is, the natural's kind of a juicier target. That being said, Time changes angles. Watch out!
Oh, Storm comes in. Well split on that Storm, though. A couple of those units do get clipped by the Psystorms. The tanks have landed. Tanks getting some shots off of this Stalker heavy army. No Zealots here. Archon gets picked off.
Yeah.
And Time actually takes an all-right fight there, all things considered, trying to drop the main base with the Widow Mines. Deflected there from MacSed at least.
Wow, the Widow Mines, he dealt with that with a good spread. To be honest, I think that was not badly handled by MacSed. The fact that he morphed with the High Templar into an Archon, I just don't think it was good enough, right? I think considering the Widow Mine was there distracting, he did things pretty well. He just didn't have that many tools, and I think maybe he should have backed off once he kind of forced Time to stim and siege up his units. Now the tanks are going to... Oh, he's going to set up the elevator Doom drop. This is a lovely angle.
Yeah, this might be a game-winning maneuver here, or a series/tournament winning maneuver. +1 armor going to get denied there. He does pick it off the last few seconds. So those Zealots going to lose that little bit of longevity. Oh, no, Prism! Oh, no! MacSed losing everything here, including the main Nexus. I think this might just be it, Pig.
Yeah, that is so very painful. And Time just finds the damage, gets on out. He loses the empty medevac. You're kidding me. Oh, everything's stacking up in Time's favor right now. And his 3rd command center is finished. He says, you're back on 2 base right now, rebuilding your Nexus. Did he get the Templar Archives?
Yes.
Oh my god.
He picked it off on the way out.
Just before +1 armor, the Templar Archives and the Nexus, and gets almost everything out. You're kidding me. That's insane.
And he killed the Warp Prism with Widow Mines, and he killed a bunch of Stalkers. Like, it could not have gone better.
Oof. Devastating game so far. A massive advantage in the units lost tab. Ghosts coming in behind this. Vikings being added in, which is really fantastic, right? You get a few Vikings, you get those EMPs, they look great. We have seen players dodge that with very good Prism micro. I was actually watching Classic earlier today in an online cup, and he was really juking the EMPs and the Viking shots, which was cool. But the fact is, you can't do much with a Storm drop. Once there's Vikings and Ghosts out, you've got to be so cautious. You always have to come in from an unsuspected angle. And yeah, if they're really quick, they can kind of just spam EMPs underneath the Prism and catch you as you unload before you even Psystorm. So It's really hard for Protoss here. He needs big Psy Storms. That's why I keep talking about it, because when you're this far down in material, I mean, that's kind of your comeback mechanism.
Yeah,
but
spells, splash damage.
Yeah, and Time's not going to give him that opportunity. He's like, no, double upgrades, Ed. I got all the counters I need, and he's building up to a giant army.
Indeed. Yeah, his army looks so good. And welcome back to Classic, by the way. The Chentos. One of the most exciting Protosses in the history of StarCraft 2. Really cool to see him back. And we do have the move out here from Time, and this looks like a Death Push Pig. It is 40 army supply advantage here for the Terran. He's got the storms, countermeasures rather, with the EMPs. Eats a big storm in the middle of the army there, but actually only kind of hits the middle of the storm, so it doesn't take maximum damage. The EMP hits the Immortals, hits the Archons. The High Templar get turned into an Archon and die to the Widow Mines, and this looks like a stim for the win here for the Terran. Time playing an incredibly dominating one-sided grand final series here against MacSed. We were talking about how good MacSed's been looking, but this was one of Time's easiest finals in the now 5-season win streak he's had as king of this region.